Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's Monday Power Hour. Yes, I know we're still used to that Monday morning, but we can still have a very necessary, needed conversation even in the midnight hour. How was your Monday today? Yep, I know some things might have happened you didn't want to happen, but you made it, right? And we're going to be better tomorrow for it, right? Right. That's what this hour is about. We talk about time management, how we're able to overcome obstacles. We're also going to talk about something very, very, very big that's going on. It's called the Rewrite the Vision Youth Mentorship Movement. I got to call it a movement because it's more than just one event. We've been doing this. We did it twice as a team. Our visionary, our third Monday Power Hour guest, Andrew Griffin, has been so instrumental in making sure that we bring our gifts to the table. This team is phenomenal. You saw them last week before the event. Now we're back after to kind of reflect on what happened in this amazing moment with these amazing young people. Shout out to every parent who brought their children to the Rewrite the Vision Youth Mentorship event. Thank you for your sacrifice of time, making sure the kids got there. Thank you to every youth and young person that was in the room that not only just attended, but participated. I mean, you just had to be there. But guess what? I got a sneaking suspicion this will be happening more throughout the community, probably throughout the state, the country. This is major. So I'm going to pray. I need you to tag. I need you to share. Get some people in this room that you feel need this discussion. If you are a parent, an auntie, a next door neighbor, an educator, a pastor, a youth leader, a cousin, and you know a young person, you need to be, as all of us, you need to be in this room because something is happening monumental. We are helping to build future leaders, helping to build productive adults that make godly decisions. We had an amazing time. I'm going to pray before I get too far into this. Let's talk to the Lord. Right now, Father God, I just want to thank you for this day. You are an amazing God. I thank you because I can call you my Father, and you demonstrate the most amazing Father-like attributes. You protect, you provide, and you really are the best promise keeper. You see us in our worst and our best, and you choose to stay when other people just exit so quickly and give up on us. But you stay. You are the epitome of a best friend. God, I thank you for what you've done through the visionary Andrew Griffin, who is the founder of the Rewrite the Vision movement. I thank you for blessing him and his family and his businesses and his ministry. I thank you for blessing each person in this team as we poured our hearts out this past Saturday. Replenish more ideas, more wisdom, more guidance, because we have decided to stand up and speak for and advocate for and stand by our youth and partner with them as they grow up. We're not just throwing them out there into adulthood and say, just go and swim the best way you can. We're there with the life jacket. We're there as lifeguards. We're there as guides and mentors and coaches so that they can succeed. I thank you, God, for this platform, Trailblazerz Radio, and our CEO, Fred Beatty, all of our hosts. God, just come on in the room. You already have an open invitation here, so make yourself at home, settle here, and let something be said, done that encourages someone to just keep going. In Jesus' name, amen. Let me get my people in the room. Let me get my people in the room. Come on here, Dream Team. Here. This is a portion of the Rewrite the Vision team. Hello, my sisters, my brother.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. This is such an amazing time. My daughter is in the live chat. Hello, Gabrielle Harris. Hi, my darling. I love you too.
Aww.
Hey, girl. So sweet. So, welcome again. You all have an open invitation here. You are home. I'm not bringing you no hors d'oeuvres. You can go in the refrigerator and get whatever you need, because once you come to my house once, no, you don't get served no more. You family, you go get what you need. You come on and sit down. That's how that works in our culture. So I want to welcome you again to this podcast, Monday Power Hour. For those who've been following me, was developed to bring us in. Here is that Monday. Monday has been seen as a mundane Monday, or time to make the donuts kind of a day, or, oh my God, I can't take it, I hate my job, or whatever. And I used to have Sunday night anxiety because I had a job that was very anxiety filled, and I would stay up late purposefully trying to make Monday just not show up. I know that sounds really strange, but I just didn't want it. I wanted my weekend to just stay there because I didn't approach that job the way I should have. I should not have given that job or those people so much power where it paralyzed me, but it taught me to change my mindset. Come on, change your paradigm in the room. And I had to shift. And now in my new assignment that I love, thank you, Lord, for the assignment. You answer prayer. Now I look forward to Monday. I look forward to seeing the patients that I see and the coworkers that I have. So let's talk a little bit about time. And then we're going to move right into our discussion about the event. But I want to go around the screen here and ask each of you, first of all, give us your name and tell us who you are again and what you do. But add that little extra how you manage time. So I'm going to start with the visionary.
Awesome. Well, my name is Andrew Griffin. I'm a youth motivational speaker, along with a husband and father of 4 beautiful girls. God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." I took him seriously, right? You said something when you first got on, and how you used to have anxiety about Monday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
I did a research, and they said Monday mornings is the #1 day for heart attacks.
Wow.
Because individuals get up in the morning and go to jobs that they hate.
Jesus.
And so one section, or one way you can look at a little bit of time management, is, are you doing things that you really want to do? Because time is something you can't get back.
Wow.
And so you got to ask yourself the question, are you doing something every day that you hate? Or are you doing something every day that you are put on this earth to do?
Ooh.
And that's what we're really working with the youth. Can we identify what you love to do? Go to school for what you love to do. Go to that job for what you love to do. Don't just go for it to pay bills. What is that? That's the life at the end of the 80, 70 years. We say, hey, we got on this earth. We put on this earth just to pay bills and just to make it.
Come on.
And we used all our time to do it. Right? If you divide it to 24 hours, and how much time do you spend sleeping, working at a job, and doing something you don't want to do? And can we reverse it?
My Lord.
So I'll turn it over to you. That's my little 2 cents on time management.
I felt that in my spirit. Are you doing what you love? Okay. Well, that's heavy. That's heavy. All right. I'm going to move over to Leslie Ann.
Oh my goodness. Hi.
Hey, sister.
I'm Leslie Ann, owner and creator of Last Crafts 27. That is my small business, but by day, I'm a senior analyst for an insurance company. I would say one thing about time that I'm learning is it's always changing for me, like scheduling and everything like that. With me being involved with my nephew, my schedule even has changed and been impacted, my work schedule. So I would consider that I am an early person. I do like to start my day early, but depending on what I have going on, because like I said, I have a 9 to 5. If I have any projects that I also have to do, it may be a late night, So I would say, as far as my time management, I am still balancing it all, and it's not always the same. But I will say that no matter what that schedule looks like, I'm always going to meet my deadlines. If that means I have to stay up until 12 a.m. and then get up at 5 a.m. the next morning, that's just what we have to do. So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
my input on time right now.
I love that. And you said something very important, that it could look different.
Yeah,
And I have another sister who she doesn't like the word balance. She uses the word flow,
I like
because
that.
it could look different from one day to another. There was no like real cookie cutter. Do these
It's
6 things and
not.
you'll have a great day. You know, things
Yeah,
change. Things change.
things
That's
do change.
powerful, Leslie.
And
Yeah.
and and then the thing about that is we have to adapt. Some people
Whew.
get so obsessed with, oh, if I don't do it like this at this time, it can't get done. But that's not true. You have
Wow.
to just know how to adapt, and like your sister said, flow, because
No.
with me, I'm a pretty ambitious girl, so it still has to get done. So it has to
Right.
get done today.
Right. Right. And I get
So
that.
whatever
That's
time that is, that's just whatever time is gonna
real
happen.
talk. Real
Yeah.
talk. But do you know people who get so stuck on, it has to be done this way?
Oh
That's
yes.
where I get kind of thrown off. Like it's gonna get done, but I may not do it just like you. But can you trust me to do it in a way that I can flow?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I do know
Wow.
people like that. Where it's like if it's not done this way, then it's not done. But that's really not appropriate because obviously we're all different, right? So
Yes.
how Shakaya does something and how you do something, and I'm left-handed, so I do everything the
Oh
opposite
wow.
way.
Okay.
So it may look weird for everybody when they see how I do
Special
it. So
superpower, girl. Special superpower.
but yes, I definitely agree with that. But I try not to obsess about those things.
Okay.
I just know, like for me, I have to meet the deadline. And Shakaya
Yes.
can attest because she knows that I'm an early riser, and usually I'm an early bedtime person too. But if I have
Okay.
something to do, I'm gonna make sure I get it done.
I love it. I love it. All right, Shakaya.
Hey, hey, everybody. I am Shakaya. I am Lady Williams. I am mom of three.
Did we lose Shakaya? She is
I think she's
frozen.
frozen. Let me
That's
shoot
okay.
her a
Hey,
text.
Simone. Thank you all for being in while we get our sister back. Thank you all. Please go ahead and tag and share. And for those of you who follow Power Hour, we call
Like I
ourselves
am every woman
calendarites.
sometimes.
Oh, there she is. Go ahead. We lost your sister, but you back. So if you was talking, you got to start over.
Okay. Look, my internet is a hater, I think. Um, okay, I'm gonna just start from I think I'm every woman, the owner of the Black Bag Culture. It started out as like office supplies, notebooks, folders, and things like that. But the real ride in my hand was writing. I've been doing it my whole life. I was doing it for free. It is the thing that will get me out the bed in the morning that I love to do. It is not
Mhm.
whatever my 9 to 5 is. We will not talk about that on this blessed Monday. But it is what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. It is my little piece of joy in the midst of the storm. Um, in terms of time management, I am rewriting the vision because
All
I would
right.
like to be an early riser. I am not an early riser. I am a late night person. I am, yeah, my best ideas come at 2 and 3 a.m. And then
Ooh.
I am not my best self when it's time to do everything 7, 8. But when it comes to time management, I am on everybody else's schedule because I have 3 children and they're all
Yes.
different. They're all doing different things in different grades. And I have an autistic son. I'm also an advocate for autism. I do a lot of talking about that, a lot of sharing. But my autistic son has a bit of OCD. He has a schedule in his head that he will follow to a T. When we
Wow.
went into COVID, he went to the front door and stood there with his book bag because he
Wow.
knew without knowing how to tell time that it was time to go. So with
Mhm.
him being so precise, that's something that I have to work with as well because
Yeah.
his schedule sometimes is better, tighter, finer than mine. But I think
Mm.
it's very important to be able to schedule yourself in a way however your flow is, whatever it is you do, you got to get everything done. Everybody got the same 24 hours. You just
Yes. Yes. That's good. That's good. Simone says, wow, Simone is my original person who started Monday Power Hour with me. We call ourselves Calendar Rights. And we were just saying that we have not gotten together. We used to have our own kind of conference call with our calendars and sit there and mark in our work schedule, our projects, our church obligations. We put everything in the calendar. We have not done that in a while, and it's time for us to get together, Simone, because I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, girl, with this new assignment I got. Oh, is she back? You back, Shakaya? You back, sister? That was profound what you said. You, of course, from what you said, you really have to make sure I like how you said your different things to your family, and each one has to have a different version of how you approach time. And that's probably how I'm thinking educators probably look at their students. Each student has to have the tailored amount of time to make sure that they learn. That's how parents have to do with their children. Each child is different. And I feel like when you have that open mind, and I'm learning this, you all, because I'm a stickler for an itinerary. I am a trainer by trade. I'm used to making plans at this time, chapter 1, at this time, chapter 2, this time. But sometimes things don't go according to the written agenda, and you've got to be flexible. And you mentioned that too, Leslie Ann. Sometimes you just got to change and shift and adapt. That's the key word. Can you adapt? And that can even be a spiritual thing. Can I adapt when things come my way that maybe I didn't really plan for, didn't really want to happen? Could those things have come my way to strengthen me? Could they have come to stretch me? Because sometimes we are creatures of habit. We like things to happen the same way every day. Go the same way to work, get the same plain bagel with blueberry cream cheese and a Diet Coke with 3 ice cubes. Everything has to be the same. But sometimes you're going to have to adapt to some different things. COVID-19 changed our entire world. Before that, it was 9/11 that changed our entire world. So every so many years, something happens that just changes the way that we exist. And if you're going to combat anxiety and depression, you're going to have to adapt. And I'm learning that going back into the workplace has been a definite game changer, physically, mentally. I thank God for the resource of a paycheck. I'm grateful, but every bone in my body sometimes feels it. A lot of prayer. I wish Ben Gay didn't have no smell. And I would lather up. But I don't want to go in there smelling like, Shady Pines nursing and heaven rehearsing. So I just don't put it on. But I do get my good Tylenol. I get my swig of water, and I do what I have to do. So let's take that time management. Hello, Tiffany Craig. Tiffany's in the comments. Okay, Simone has a comment here. She says, yes, sis, it is definitely time to get together to get our calendar in order. Because when you don't do that, you can overcommit. Have you ever overcommitted and then somebody had to get that dreadful phone call? Girl, I can't. I'm so sorry. I overbooked. I triple booked. I double booked. I've done that. I have missed at least 2 doctor appointments since I started working because I did not check my phone. Got to get back on that path of what's in the calendar, whether it's a physical one or your phone, your Outlook, whatever you have. Routines are definitely a thing for children, yes. And some adults need a routine. But sometimes as adults, we have to kind of say, okay, my routine may have to change. I'm doing good, Tiffany. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here. Brother is back. Yes. So, brother, I want to segue into the Rewrite the Vision phenomenon that we've been doing, the tour, hashtag the tour, and talk about what you feel were the most memorable moments for you. And then while you're doing that, kind of bring our audience up to date on what the vision is, what you want to accomplish with this?
Absolutely. So I'll start with Brother TJ. He had one of the most remarkable speeches, and it wasn't long, but we had maybe about 10 or 12 speakers, but you remember Brother TJ. What was
Yes.
so interesting about Brother TJ is I could not get him to say a word just a few months ago.
Wow.
Actually, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Like, we've been having leadership meetings on every other Monday, and TJ, I've been trying to get him to say 1 or 2 words at a time. And then each week he might do maybe a sentence.
Okay.
But he'd be real nervous.
Okay.
And for him to get up in front of so many people on Saturday and not have any notes,
right,
but to get up like he's a pro,
come
like
on,
he's a professional speaker, I think it was all those seeds. And
yes,
it says something about when you place seeds in a child's mind, it doesn't take that long to grow.
Wow.
It does not. But we have to be careful what seeds are we planting. You know, because
Yes.
you can, because he reminded me of me, because that was me when I was little. Nobody would tell me Andrew's speaker. They would say Andrew's just quiet. Some people say Andrew just got, he a little slow, but that's just Andrew. Andrew don't talk. There was nobody, it was very few people. My mom was one of them that said, it was more than that to him. He's going to be doing big things. No one else. And so you have to be careful. And that's what a part of Rewrite the Vision is. We're planting seeds of greatness in our young people because they are great.
Yes.
And if you don't know, if nobody's telling you, like, you need someone to have faith in you. You need somebody to see you in a bigger light, because you can't see the whole picture inside of the frame. You need somebody to be looking out on the outside 100 yards away and saying, this is greatness.
Yes.
Even Josiah's daughter, you would have never knew that she wrote that song. She
God.
put that whole song together. You would have never known. And so we had so many examples of even the kids that I had play those chords.
Yes.
You just never know who's the next great musician. And maybe that was their first time even touching a piano on Saturday. So you just never know. So that's what I think that Saturday served as one of those seeds that we plant in so many young people's minds.
I agree with that. I agree. Let's go to Shakaya. Shakaya, what were your most memorable moments from this last Saturday's monumental event?
Wow. That's the first thing. I had a wow moment. I think that I know that we had a very good turnout, and they were involved and interactive. You could tell they wanted to be there. They wanted to participate. They wanted to talk to you. They wanted to show you that they had talent. So just the back and forth that we received, I thought that was incredible. Of course, TJ got me right together because it was like 3 sentences, and it was powerful. Like, I'll never forget it. He didn't have to give a long speech. He said what he said, and it was valid. Almost everybody in the room, we were like, you just gotta wait. You just got to run the course. You just got to endure. And I was like, pass the offering plate, brother TJ. Okay. So that was one thing. I think another thing was the little young man with the glasses who said, well, what do we do when we don't have a lot of resources, basically? And the answer that Leslie gave was like, do you have this? Do you have that? You got everything you need. Because a lot of times, even as adults, we overthink what we need to do it. A lot of times we have everything that we need already, but the picture is so big. Like Andrew said, we're looking at the picture, but if we just stood back, we could see, like, oh, wait, I actually have it. And I believe that young man, he left with something. He left with some paintbrushes and things like that. And that was God too. Because somebody else had wanted and was like, I'm gonna give this back. And he wanted it and he ended up with it. So everything works together. So those are my two wow, give me the chill moments. And also my sister Leroya, every time she opened her mouth, her and Leslie got this thing. When they open their mouth, my hands go up. It's just, I know they got it. The fire is in them. I don't care what nobody say.
Yes.
The Holy Ghost is in their belly. Because I'm like, you better sing, LaRoya. And to bring everybody together with one accord. I think that's very powerful. That's the whole reason for praise and worship at church, so that we can get everybody together. So
yes,
those are mine.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Leslie Ann.
I would have to agree. I have a lot of moments. Brother TJ took us in. We could have gave the benediction after that, because when you wait, listen. Woo. It was very timely. The little boy with the glasses definitely touched my heart. Another thing that really touched my heart too, outside of the interaction, was when the hugs came. Like, so many people needed a hug, and I just felt the love in the room, and I'm like, this is what it's all about, like humanity, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people some children don't get affection at home, some adults go without affection, some adults live by themselves, older adults that never get that physical touch on a regular basis. So being able to offer that and people actually take it touches my heart every time. So that was a good moment. Another moment that I had actually after the program was over, I went over and I talked to Kat Shea, who turned from fiction, urban fiction, to Christian writing. And what stood out so much about her was she has an autistic son that's 20 years old. So I talked to her a while, a little bit, and then I brought Shakaya over because Shakaya has an autistic son. And I'm like, this is just so divine. Like, once you start opening your mouth, you don't know who you're standing next to. Like, it takes a village for kids and adults. So her and Shakaya were able to connect and exchange ideas and moments. And, it was just so powerful. It was great. And then Nicole shut it down.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was great. The mother that asked the question about confidence, it's just one after another. The whole program was amazing. And Andrew, you didn't even have us in a church this time, but it always seemed to go there.
It does.
But it was great. The whole program was great from beginning to end. So it was amazing.
It certainly was. And first of all, let me just tell you that Reverend Casbo gave us some foundational, let me get you right together in case you strayed too far away, knowledge about the Word of God and the type of diversity that was in the room. It just spoke volumes, because we want our youth to understand that this world includes different types of people.
That's right.
And we want to embrace our similarities and our differences as well. But what united us at that moment was our love for God and the Word of God. Tiffany, we will be doing this again. I just got a sneaking suspicion, Tiffany Craig, that this will be happening again. Oh, my sister Sandra Cobb, Elder Sandra, the forgiveness coach, is in the room, and she says Tiffany is an amazing coach for solo moms, parenting children with unique needs. I'll write that name down. We may have to connect with Tiffany Shoemaker. Thank you for that, Elder Cobb, because I think from what I can gather in that room, this is going to be layered in a good way.
That's right.
Because you've got youth, you've got children, you've got the clergy, you've got the aunties, you've got all these different people who came together, but the youth were the center. And we made them know that you're why we're here. You are the guests of honor. So however we can collaborate to make sure that however we get to them and their parents, because we couldn't get them there without the parents. They're not driving yet. So we have to get them while they're young. But Reverend Casbo, he really, I'm glad that he started it. I like that he set the tone for that foundational discussion about the word of God, and even talking about marriage. Yes, we've talked about marriage. We're talking about godly principles with our youth at a young age. So it was phenomenal. And the entire time, looking at the children's responses, their attention, like they were engaged, like, okay, wow. And then Lanaya's song fit the entire theme and touched my soul. I told her dad, I said, you just don't realize sometimes adults need the reminder about, following your dream, and you can do it. Don't let the enemy, distract you. That's a whole sermon. That's a whole series. That's a whole revival for 7 good days, at least 7 whole days. So, and then Brother TJ very simply came through like a rushing mighty wind and just took it to a whole nother level, and the level of authority in his voice. I was so proud. This is one of the reasons why I feel we do this. We are teaching our youth how to be emerging leaders. And you can be a leader at whatever level you find yourself, whether you're a business owner, whether you have a 9-to-5, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult. I believe you can be a leader at whatever level you find yourself at. And in that moment, I felt leadership. I felt confidence in him. I felt, I got this. I got to share. This is my testimony that this thing works if you wait. A simple principle, but it was so profound, not just what he said, but how he said it. Right. I'm hoping that our youth see him as an encouragement. I can do that. When I come back to the next event, I'm going to ask Brother Andrew if I can say something. Right. And they'll all start to feel more comfortable speaking. If you're going to help create emerging leaders, and Andrew, you can speak to the fact that presentation, speaking, even with the podcasting, you have to know how to speak, which means right. How am I pronouncing, enunciating my words? What is my posture when I'm speaking? I want to be taken seriously. Simone says, I am so grateful for what you're doing for the city of Detroit, Michigan, Andrew Griffin. Oh. That's the truth. And Simone is in Virginia. So wow. Thank you, Simone. I appreciate that because we believe in this vision wholeheartedly. And I can see this going throughout state, throughout this region, because what happened this past Saturday, and if you weren't there, we're not here to rub it in. We're really just here to say, connect with us so that we can make sure when we do this again, and I'm sure that we will, you're in the room, your children are in the room, your nieces, your nephews are in the room. Another moment for me, because it's so many, like Leslie Ann said, it's so many, but I felt when the young lady talked about being a single mom and wanting to have more confidence and really be there for her children, I felt that I saw me. I saw me. I was a single mother for many years and wanting to be all I could for my daughter and impart to her all I could. And in my case, my daughter's father was not in her life. So I'm just trying to balance being everything for her and then keeping me together emotionally. I felt her in that moment. And then the finale of all of us on stage for me was a monumental moment, having the teams all together, having the audience, the children, the parents be able to ask us questions. That was what to me just sealed the deal. It sealed the deal. Simone says, I wish I was in Michigan to experience this. You know what? I'm praying that at some point we'll be able to get this through the airways as well. Simone, right. And we're going to get you here because Simone is one of my besties from Virginia, has been following this platform for years, and I hopefully to get her here for the next one. That would be great to even see you on that stage, Simone, because she's doing youth conferences for her church. She's an amazing podcaster and speaker herself. So this is amazing. Question to you all on this screen. What do you believe self-care looks like for a young person? I'm going to start with Shakaya this time.
Self-care for a young person. Ooh, that's kind of difficult because you have to be in an environment where you're allowed to do that. And a lot of times as parents, it's like, do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. You have to allow your kids to express themselves. And I have a perfect example of this. It's hilarious. So I'm not going to tell it too much. But when I would go to the restroom, or if I need to go in the bathroom and scream or whatever it is, I would tell my son, my baby son, I need girl minutes. Right. This was my way of making him understand what privacy was.
Yes.
And so one day he was sitting in the living room by himself, and I went in there, and I'm just in there like kicking up noise, probably, cleaning up around him. And he's like, hey, I need boy minutes. And I was like, but then I thought about it, like, if I don't respect his boy minutes, he may not respect my girl minutes. So I have to do this, sometimes I have to sit by myself and watch SpongeBob. Sometimes I have to sing off key in the corner and talk to myself. Wait. That's not it. Because he does that. He gives speeches. He does all kinds of things. And he wants to do it without me watching him do it. I'm there, but I'm not there.
Okay.
So it's knowing that privacy is not always sneaky. It's not always that you're up to mischief. It's just that you need these moments. And you have to be able to express those moments.
I love that. That's powerful. Very powerful. Andrew Griffin.
Wow. I thought I was going third. That was excellent. We could have just left it with Shakaya. That was
that was amazing.
Self-care for a young person. It's a lot to do with the parents. I do agree with that. But at the same time, there have been people who have been brought up in terrible situations. Terrible. Les Brown talks about it. He was born in an abandoned building with his twin brother.
Wow.
His birth mom gave him away. So he could have had a lot of saying since I was a baby, I ain't had nobody, right?
Right.
So there are examples of individuals who have won despite what their situation was. And so self-care, like, what is the starting point? So like if there's let's say there's a 10-year-old watching this right now.
Okay.
And they ask, okay, what can I start to do? I don't have the best relationship with my parents. They don't really take me to events. I don't have this. I don't have that. Today is so awesome now that everybody has access to internet, right? Everybody has access to the library or whatever. So I would tell that individual is, what picture in your mind do you have currently of yourself? Is it a negative picture or is it a positive picture? And so you could do this exercise without anybody knowing.
Right.
You can wake up 5 minutes earlier and say, what do I really love?
That's good.
And I know we're talking about youth, but this is sometimes what adults need to do too.
Yes, sir.
What is that picture I'm seeing in my mind when I wake up? And when I first wake up, am I thinking about all the bills that I have to pay?
Wow.
Because if you wake up with that, you're going to go through your whole day with that stuff.
Yes.
And it's like going through a whole week without taking a shower, right? Mentally, we have to take showers to clean those negatives out.
Come on.
80,000 or between 25,000, depending on your age, 25,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those are negative. 95% are repetitive.
My God.
And so some of that self-care is so much mentally. And you can do that without other people knowing. And you can do that, and it might take 15 minutes, you say, hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes just picturing the person I am.
Wow.
Picturing the person walking into that classroom, picturing me getting an A on that test.
Yes.
We're not taught that in school, to imagine yourself getting an A on the test. We're taught to cram, to get all this information that you might not need or use or forget 5-10 years later. And we're not taught to mentally, physically, just picture yourself getting an A.
Wow.
Picture yourself not having to deal with that bully or stepping up to that bully. That's all a part of self-care. And so I think those times in the morning, those times at night, those times where you can find some type of quietness. I don't care what age you're at. You can find something, right?
Yes.
What's that picture you walking around every day with? And sometimes we don't know. We walking around that picture all day.
Yes.
I'll share this. I'll turn it back over to you. When they first told me I had diabetes, I would just I carried it with me. So every time I looked at food, I'll be like, I got diabetes. Can't have that. I got diabetes. Can't have that. And I felt so guilty. I was putting more stress on my body.
My God.
And diabetes is a result of stress you put on your body. So every time I would see food, every time I would wake up, I would say, I have diabetes. I have this. And I kept it. And until I said I don't have it anymore, those numbers never went down. I was going on all types of diets. But mentally, I was walking around with a picture. My self-care was off.
Woo! Wow. That is powerful. That is powerful. That's a whole word. That's a whole word for an adult. And you just made me think about, as a child, growing up in the time frame that I grew up in, kind of going back to what Shakaya was saying, kids didn't have a whole lot of input. You didn't walk up to your mom and say, you're making me anxious. You're making me feel a little, stressed out. I mean, you get knocked back to Jerusalem. So now we finally have gotten, I believe we've gotten to a place where we see children do have a voice. They do have thoughts. They do have their own personalities, and it's not all being sassy and disrespectful. I was that child that just liked to talk. That was what I love to do. I have two very talkative parents. It's their fault. So I'm a product of these two people who are preachers, very great speakers. I mean, that's what they do. So I'm just like them. But it was like, oh my God, here she comes with these questions. I had interview questions at 7 and 8. I got just got a few questions and I have a whole notebook, like, I was that one. But it's like, pay attention to those things. Your children kind of are giving you a kind of a prelude of what they may end up doing in life. My self-care was my writing. The teacher said, your writing is it's too dark. It was a cry for help. Yeah. That's how I felt. We got a comment here. Tiffany Craig says, self-care to me for a child is just being a child. Sometimes nowadays kids have adult problems or just knowing the issues that their parents may be going through. And worry about things they can't change. That is true. A lot of times our children feel some of the stress of the parents. I felt that finances was a very tough thing for my parents. When my mom married my stepdad, he already had 4 children under 18. So finances were always a very tough thing. And I felt that tension in the house. So that's very true, sis. Sometimes our children feel the spirit of the house.
Right.
And we have to find ways to, okay, mommy and daddy, you may have to go in the room and have those conversations one-on-one. Not saying that your children should be shut out from the real deal, but we don't want them to miss a childhood, if that makes sense. Now, I told my daughter at some point, we do have some financial difficulties. I can't buy A, B, and C. That's why today she's very budget minded. Because she knew from growing up, my mom works really hard and she tries to get all that we need. And she wanted to make me aware that the rent was the top of the list. And then came the car. We got to be able to go to, she got to be able to take herself to work. She got to be able to get to school. And she going to make sure I have clothes and water and chicken. And yes, we had a priority. Okay. We had a priority. Leslie Ann, let's talk about self-care for youth. What's your take on that?
I kind of want to piggyback off of Andrew. It's funny that you brought that up about like when you found out that you had diabetes. It's like it almost got worse because that's all that was on your mind. My sister and I were just having this conversation. She's also in healthcare, and we were talking about how, you know, a lot of people avoid going to the doctor, and she's seen people that come in feeling fine physically, you know, and come in after maybe years of not going to the doctor. And then all of a sudden the doctor brings down this scroll and says, hey, you got A through Z, and this not right, and this not right, and this not right. And we want to treat it with this, this, and this. And she's literally seen people physically deteriorate just because now they've been walking around with this for forever. But now because you've brought it to my attention, now I'm constantly thinking about it. And I was just constantly getting worse at this point. So that was that. We just had that conversation. So I just wanted to piggyback off of that. We do have to be mindful about what we think, you know, what we think about. Even if we do get a sour report, you know, God has the final say. And as Shakaya had pointed out during the conference, there's a difference between worry and concern. When you worry, we get the negative. Like it's a difference between a response and a reaction, right? If you have a reaction to something, then that's a negative. But if your body is responding to something, then that's a positive. So yeah, you might have gotten the scroll, but let's be concerned about it and let's find out what we can do to remedy it. So I just wanted to touch on that. For me, I would say self-care for a child would be whatever they find that's just for them and whatever makes them feel good as far as expressing themselves. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household that taught me confidence and built up my confidence. My mom, though, she overcompensated because I was the chubby kid, right? So my mom was always scared that I would be teased and talked about. So she made sure I was impeccable, dressed nice, hair nice, smell good, nothing, no blemishes, no foul, no play, because she wanted, she overcompensated. She would make sure I was good, you know, but the things that she was doing actually groomed me and gave me the confidence. So I didn't struggle with that too much in my childhood. It wasn't actually until my adulthood that I struggled with it, but that's neither here or there. But I found that even though I grew up in a household that had love and showed me confidence, when I would get super sad about whatever I was feeling as a child, or upset or angry, I couldn't verbally express myself. So I just started writing. So that was my outlet. So I would consider that a form of self-care. And then again, me being also an artsy person, I would draw. So those were my moments. My creativity was my self-care. So that may look different for every child, but like even with Lanaya, she's a gorgeous girl. She has beautiful lyrics. She sings well. Her outlet and her self-care might be writing a song. You know what I mean? So it looks different for everybody. So I think a child's self-care is whatever makes them feel good, and it's just for them.
That's good. That's so powerful. It just came to me in my head. When Andrew did the exercise with the young children and allowed them to come up and try to play a little bit on the piano, I think self-care for children might be not beating yourself up if you don't get it perfect. That's something that I have to deal with now, even at almost 50. Because in my head, I want to be everything to everyone. Even starting my new assignment, I'm in training, getting mad. I ain't getting it. This ain't gonna work. They're like, ma'am, this is day one. Could you? It's called orientation. To security. You, ma'am, could you calm down? Well, that's my nature. I am a trainer by trade. So I'm thinking I'm gonna come in this classroom on day one, hour number one, lesson number one. I said, I got it. I'm ready. Put me out there. Put me out there. Put me out there. They were like, ma'am, could somebody go back there? That lady tripping. It's okay, ma'am. This is called training. This is day one, paragraph one, line one. Drink you some water, sit on back in your chair so we can proceed. But for children, sometimes there's this pressure. It can be from parents, it can be from teachers sometimes. And just saying, you know what, I'm trying. And feel good about the try. Feel good about, maybe I didn't win the game, but I showed up, I played, and I had fun. I want us to allow children, like Tiffany said it great too. Let children be children. And we have to be careful parents, because some of y'all, I guess, kind of what we talked about before, you treat them like your best friends. Hey, friend, that man was not right for me. She's 2. Don't tell that baby that. I mean, it's just like, how much you gonna put on your babies? Get you the best friends club. Get you some Facebook groups and some sister sessions and some therapy, because maybe we push our children out of childhood into adult situations prematurely, and they don't get a chance to enjoy just being a kid. How we used to go outside and you might get dirty and your clothes. When I sent you outside, you look good, but now, yep, I had fun, mama. I'm a kid. Socks toe up, J curl dry. I put that activator in here. You done came back here dry. Listen, let these kids be kids. Elder Cobb has a comment here. When we talk to the youth, even adults, about self-care, do we have to be mindful to mention that caring for themselves shouldn't be harmful? Caring for themselves shouldn't be harmful to others. Oh, great point. Great point. I like that. Forgiveness coach. I love that. Auntie Emma is in the room. Y'all meet my Auntie Emma. Hello, Auntie. That's what she called me, Auntie. I love you, Auntie. Thank you for being in the room. Before we go, I want to talk about what might be next, Brother Andrew. What is your desire for Rewrite the Vision? Where do you see this going? And for those of you who feel like you want to be a part, or you want to connect, or please connect with anybody on this screen. We are looking to get the whole community involved. We want the villagers in the room. The more our children see us come out and show up for them, I think they get the strength that they need to keep moving forward. So I'm going to give you the floor, Andrew. Let's talk what your vision is next. What's next?
Absolutely. When your phone dies and you plug it up to the charger, and you see, if you got an Apple, you see that big Apple pop on the screen, and then you see it charging at 1%. We're just getting started.
All right.
We're at the 1% mark. Even when you first and you're dating someone, you first get married, that's the beginning.
Yes.
That is the beginning. If you're in sales and you sell a product to somebody, even though you sold it to them, you think that's the end. No, that's just the beginning.
Wow.
This is just the beginning. And this is, I'm so grateful for you, because this is one of the platforms that we get to answer those questions. We get to help in our youth. And yes. I know you put that email on the chat for everyone to see. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear, hey, how can we bring this to our church? How can we bring this to our school? How can we bring this? Just, I just want to get my nieces and nephews together. Can y'all come and just encourage them or give some feedback with them? All the above.
Yes.
We're just started. We're going to have something coming up within the next couple of months, and we're going to get that information out. But email us at that rewrite the vision, gmail.com, and let us know what What do you think is the biggest need? You know, we talked about bullying, we talked about confidence, we talked about self-care, we talked about developing skills now, right? So they don't have to work those crazy McDonald's, Wendy jobs for 10, 20 hours a week. They can hone in on their skills now so they can pay for their own college.
All right, now, come
I
on.
would is we're just getting started, right? We're open to stuff. It's not theory that we're teaching stuff that we've been through. We're teaching stuff that we've been through, and we're putting it all on the floor, all on the table to help our youth get to the next level.
Absolutely. And shout out to Mighty Joe, Josiah Shackelford, and Pastor Levante, who were our other team members that did an amazing job. Everything just flowed. It had to be God. I can't really say nothing else, but it just had to be a God thing. This whole process, when we invest into our youth, we are trying to reinforce the stamina and strength of the family. We've kind of gotten away from that, but it goes back to when you help to create citizens who make good decisions, who know how to take constructive criticism, who know how to manage emotions, because kids need some level of emotional intelligence too. We have to teach them that. So when we show them how to handle conflict, because sometimes you're going to go to school and you're going to encounter people who are not nice. So when we have these conversations about how to handle certain life situations, we are preparing them for adulthood. Some of y'all grown folks need to have these types of discussions, because I see y'all out here wilding out. So we're trying to get these children at a young, tender age to say, you know what? I didn't like the fact that he took that from me. That was my toy. I'm going to ask for it back instead of popping him upside his head. May I have my toy back, please? And it may seem fundamental, but we got to have these kind of discussions with kids. Because the first inclination is, that's mine. Put up your dukes. But we're teaching them how to, hold on one second. Let's just say, could you give him back his toy? He might just say, sure. Or let me go grab someone that's going to help entice you to return my property. We're teaching children how to see conflict differently, accept feedback. I didn't like in those moments where you got a bad grade, but I had to be shown where it went wrong so I can get it right. I didn't like C's, I didn't like D's, but I had to go back and study. I had to find my flow. I had to find my niche when it came to doing good in school. Some of our children may feel the pressure of, maybe I'm the child that doesn't get the good grades, but I want to, and I want someone to pay attention to me. We're going to be addressing all these different things with our youth. I thank you, Brother Andrew, for heeding the call. I thank you for the opportunity to serve in its capacity along with this great team. You all have an open invitation, collectively and individually, to come and hang out with me. Monday Power Hour also promotes individual businesses, and Andrew is a whole brand. Shakaya is a brand. Leslie Ann, we're brands. So this is how we also use this platform to say, hey, check us out. Follow us on our social media outlets. So I thank you all for being here. And I thank you to those who've been watching and supporting. Thank you so much. Elder Cobb is in the comments. Sandra Cobb is a forgiveness coach, certified forgiveness coach. She is a ordained minister. She has a conference coming up this Thursday, a forgiveness conference. She'll be on my show tomorrow night talking about it. So if you are free tomorrow at 7 p.m., her book, Free to Forgive, was something that helped me during a very difficult time with my own mom. We are now on a good path to forgiveness and healing and reconciliation. And she was one of the people who was very instrumental in me remembering that God said, girl, you got to forgive. This ain't no negotiable process here. So I thank you, Elder Cobb. And let me go back to my brother before we go. My brother is so philosophical. I love he just well, when you're walking and your shoe gets dirty and you get a rock in your shoe, that rock represents Jesus. He's just so philosophical. I just love him. I'm like, do you do this at home?
No, I had to get those quotes so people wouldn't
Oh my
find out I was
gosh.
illiterate. You can't find
And
out that I'm illiterate.
it's so
I gotta
profound.
tell
I'll be
them what
like,
I know.
that sounds so simple, but it's so profound. Oh my God. You got to keep a notebook when you talk to Andrew Griffin, okay? Because you're going to get a mighty word. We got to get out of here. Let me just say again, thank you to this incredible team for all that you do for the community and for the parents, the children, the educators. I invite everyone, please email us. Let me get this email back up here. We want to partner with you. We want this to be collaboration is God's currency. He uses that in a mighty way. And there's strength in collaboration. So reach out. We want to talk to you. Like my brother said, if you got questions, if you got connections, if you want us to come to your church, your organization, your community event, just reach out. We would love to hear from you. All right, we got to get out of here. Good night, everyone. Follow Trailblazerz Radio on YouTube and Facebook. Follow Critical Conversations. Follow everybody on the screen. Have yourself an amazing evening. And thank you to everyone who came through and hung out with us, Elder Cobb. Love you, and I will see you tomorrow. And yes, thank you for learning more about this movement that we're doing. So you all have a wonderful night and be blessed. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, LHG.
Thank you, sister.
My pleasure.